Hi, everyone. My name is Amber Ajloni, and I'm going to be your English 205 professor this semester. I just want to take a second and introduce myself and just welcome you to the course. I'm going to go over some highlights on the syllabus in the next couple of minutes, so stay tuned. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the syllabus. This is English 205. The class name is English Literature 1. And I'm going to start with a bit about the course overview. We've got my information here, Amber Ajloni. My office is F5520 cubicle E, and my email is ajloniac@laccd.edu. The format of this course is online and asynchronous, so we won't be meeting, we won't be having any Zooms, but there are office hours. So plan to be self-started this semester and make sure that you pay attention to due dates and assignments and things and are consistently logging in and completing your work. Assignment due dates will be Mondays and Thursdays. So every Monday and every Thursday, unless it's a holiday or something, you'll have at the very least a reading due. Below to the left are some important dates. This is a 16-week course. If you want to drop with no penalties, please do that by September 10th, And the last day to drop with a W is November 19th, although I hope nobody will drop. And then my office hours are to the bottom right. Mondays through Thursdays, I've got hours. Sometimes I'm through Zoom. Sometimes I am through Zoom and in office. So I will make sure to indicate that with more clarity. This is the official course description. It reads, this survey of English literature begins with works from the Middle Ages, proceeds to poetry and plays from the Renaissance, and continues to the decline of neoclassicism in the 18th century, with special emphasis on major writers and works. Students will write critical papers. So that's kind of vague. Basically, it's a big time span focusing in English literature, and we'll be going over a bunch of the major works and authors, poetry, plays, no novels, but I don't think, but mostly poetry, plays, essays, religious texts, and stuff like that. The SLOs, if you're interested, are here, and let's move forward. These are the course objectives. They're kind of like convoluted, I think, but the point is to show you the kinds of things that we're going to be doing in the class. So think a lot of analyzing literature, a lot of writing, a lot of studying elements of literature and literary devices and kind of the styles and ideas that were common at the time that we're studying, as well as history and politics and sociology from those time periods. So it's going to be a big, well-rounded lit class. Stuff you'll need include the textbook, which is the Norton Anthology of English Literature, the Major Authors, Volume 1, 10th edition. There's the ISBN. It should be in the bookstore, or you could get it from elsewhere. And if you don't get the textbook, I'm going to try to put as much as I can online so that you won't be too behind. Other things include regular access to laptop and internet, paper, pens, and pencils, and access to Canvas. This is an online course, so it's really going to depend on you having a strong connection with your technology. Some of the stuff that you'll be doing, this is a pretty standard English class. We're going to have some homework, think readings, reading questions, quizzes, homeworky assignments. You'll have participation grade. Since this is an online class, I am going to include things like discussion boards or other collaborative assignments that will kind of help mimic the feeling of a in-person class. So that will count as participation, including things like emailing me and communicating with me and being respectful to your classmates and stuff like that. You'll have some writing assignments. There'll probably be 3 to 4 of those throughout the semester. They're going to be heftier than homework assignments. They might be analytical. They might be creative. My cat just dropped something. Can you not? And they won't be like full-fledged research papers necessarily, but they will require a lot of writing and research. And then the final paper is this big, fat research paper where you'll be asked to conduct a literary analysis on readings of your choosing from the course. And we'll be working up to that. Grade breakdown is pretty standard. Here are some of my policies. Attention, participation, and drop policy. This is really important. I want to make sure that we are all on the same page all the time and nobody's falling too behind. If you're missing more than 5 homework or participation assignments, if you're missing any of the major assignments, or if you have not logged into Canvas for 2 weeks or longer, expect me to be chasing you down, looking to see where you are, how you're doing, and potentially, if that continues, dropping you from the course. Communication is important to me. One of my policies is that you just communicate as much as possible. When in doubt, send me an email. I prefer Canvas inbox, but if something happens, you can always email my campus email, which is on the syllabus, and I kind of post it everywhere as well. And I ask for a 1 full business day for a response for me. So if you're asking for an extension or something, if you ask it like right before the paper is due, then I might not get it in time to grant you that extension. That being said, my late work and revision policy, hopefully you'll like it. I accept late work with appropriate notification beforehand. So if you are realizing that you need a little bit more time or you're held up on something, you can always send me a message and say, hey, Miss A, I'm running late on this, or I'm really, really busy today and I can't get to my homework assignment. And I'll usually grant you an extension on any assignment. If that communication does not occur, then I reserve the right to not grade that assignment at all. So just make sure you communicate with me, super important. In regards to revision, I want to make clear that I feel as though a big part of the learning process is having the flexibility to mess up. So I permit revisions of any assignments and I encourage them, especially if they're bigger papers or if they're not your best work. Oh my God. Drama. So if you feel like you didn't do as best as you could, once I grade it and you've been given feedback, you can always approach me and we'll talk about what you could do to revise and resubmit for a completely updated grade. So just keep that in mind as you're going through your work and try to approach your assignments with fearlessness, really. This is the academic student code of conduct. This basically is talking about plagiarism. If you're confused about what plagiarism is, you might want to read into this a little bit more. And I do provide some tips for avoiding plagiarism. A note on AI, I just want to be really clear. It can be a useful tool, but any AI generated content that is either passed off as your own work or not properly quoted and cited is considered plagiarism. And I can usually tell when an assignment is written using AI software. So that's something that I wanted to make clear. However, if you want to use AI as a tool, and we can talk about that at a point coming forward, that is totally fine with me. It just has to be done in an academically appropriate way. We're almost done here. The last thing I wanted to show you in the syllabus was the Disability Support Services Accommodation Statement. If you have a disability, if you think that you'll need some sort of accommodations or assistance in regards to your classwork, make sure to contact DSPS and they can contact me with the kinds of accommodations that you need for the class. So the information is here on this slide, and that's it. Thank you for listening.